Hello. I would like to introduce the course that I've developed called All is Mind. I've named it that because everything that exists in your life has to go through your mind, and your mind is a very complex machine. There's the Zen koan, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody is there to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, that's a very good question. Scientifically, of course it made a sound. But Zen koans and the Zen practice is for you to discover the nature of your own mind, because that's where you live. And so many trees are falling, probably right at this moment. And no, they didn't make a sound to you, did they? Nothing exists in your life other than what reaches you through your mind. Now the problem is, you might have noticed, whenever you have an argument, that what reaches your mind, your interpretation of the event, is very often quite different than anybody else's interpretation of that event. There's the story of an accident happens. You ask 3 eyewitnesses who are standing right there what happened, and you get 4 different stories. So our life is your life, is the way it is, because of the way your mind works in how it interprets every event. The All is Mind course is explaining the mind in the way of a machine, where we break it down into parts, components, that are like a jigsaw puzzle. And we analyze how each of these little parts of our totality of our being, mind, personality, function. And then we can correct the defects by examining the defects and the malfunctions and the ways or the reasons behind. Why do I do what I know is bad for me, but I do not do what I know is good for me? And so we explain that in a way that you can actually correct that flaw and become extremely productive and happy in your life. We look at the beginnings of events, everything that happens, how our mind sees the event and interprets it and identifies it with something else in our past, which distorts the event from its actual objective reality into our interpretation and imagination, in a way, of what we think happened, which we then believe. When we're shown that that's a flaw, how we justify our belief so that we're not shown we're wrong. We explain why we get very confused with simple decisions like, do I wear the red shirt or the blue shirt today? And you stand there in your closet for 20 minutes not being able to decide what to wear. Or any major decision, things that are complex, things that are simple. Why can't I decide? We explain that in ways that you can understand why you can't decide, where your confusion comes from, and how to fix that. We explain as well another section, which is the different types of people, which we classify into basically everybody into one of 3 types. And then in understanding, for example, someone who's more emotional versus someone who's more intellectual, understanding what you are and why you conflict or are in harmony with some people and not with others. By understanding everyone's primary nature and yet ability to mix but not quite well, understand but still have differences. We explain why that is and how to correct that so you can be in harmony with anybody, in perfect harmony. So you no longer have conflicts, fights, arguments, but you can actually quickly resolve any issues or problems, difficulties at work, problems at home, and eliminate these conflicts because you can become in harmony with everyone else without them having to do anything. We show how you are getting into arguments, misinterpretations, and how to correct those issues. We show how you are within yourself conflicted by your desires and then yet your morals or your better judgment, torn between these desires, and you can't understand, if I know this is bad, if it'll harm someone, yet I want it so much. And I will do things which I know can harm me or someone else. Why do I do that? We explain why that happens, and again, how to correct it. And we end with a way of being able to function, to the alteration of your being, not really tools to control or restrict your decisions, but actually an alteration of the way your mind works such that when you're faced with decisions or events, which is a constant function of life, you are able to make your decisions in a way that is clear, that is for the best good for yourself and others, and that bring you to productive resolutions and creative solutions to most problems. I don't guarantee perfection, of course, in anything. That's absolutely ridiculous to think you could become perfect, and anyone who promises you that is selling you snake oil. So we have to understand our mind, and that's what the course is about. An objective, analytical, scientific study based on very old principles of correct conduct, of confusion, of simplicity, so that we can understand how our mind works and go from someone who's fumbling and bumbling through life, dealing with arguments and putting out fires, to someone who is very productive, effective, and really pleasant to be with. Someone who becomes the gem that everyone wants to be around, who doesn't have problems and conflicts, but has only solutions and productivity and creativity and increased intellectual capacity. So that's what the All is Mind course is about, and you have nothing really to lose by taking it. You can only gain new knowledge and improve the quality of your life. All your questions are welcomed, so please do feel free to ask, inquire about when we do the next course, either in a location near you or online, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Because one of the best parts of the course is you become such that you can never be insulted, you can never be made upset, you can never be emotionally manipulated again. You become like a cloud, impervious to any attack, like a plane flying through it. Totally free, emotionally balanced. And so that's why I say, ask any questions you like, don't be shy, because you could never get me upset or insulted. All right? I hope you can attain this state. It's a wonderful state of living. And you'll find that your whole life becomes much better from it. Thank you.